On today's Locked On Islanders, we take a look at the possibility that Noah Dobson will receive an offer sheet and what the Islanders may have to match in order to retain his services. Plus, we take a look at Kevin Korchinski, one of the top prospects on defense that the Islanders may look to select in this year's NHL draft. All that and a lot more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome, everybody, to the weekend edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. So glad you could join us and be part of the Locked On Islanders family. And thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Sorry, this episode is posting a little bit later than normally. Had some family medical issues to work out yesterday, so I usually record at night. Couldn't do it. Recording this Friday morning, but thanks for your patience and happy Canada Day to everyone in Canada and a great July 4th weekend, hopefully, for everyone here in the States, and great time, holiday weekend all throughout Canada and the U.S., the two biggest countries that follow the NHL most closely. We have got a lot to discuss on today's show, but if you've got something Islanders related on your mind, you have a question, a comment, a topic you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to email us at lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYR, VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, including the draft, which is now less than a week away, free agency, which follows shortly after the draft, trade rumors, and anything else happening to your New York Islanders throughout what should be a very eventful off season for a team that's looking to get back into the playoffs. We are going to start by discussing offer sheets, and offer sheets are tricky. Noah Dobson, the Islanders' top young defenseman, is a restricted free agent. And that means that unless GM Lou Lamoriello is able to re-sign Noah Dobson before the start of free agency, other teams may consider putting in a bid on Dobson. And look, Dobson is young. He is talented. He probably hasn't reached his ceiling just yet. And you add all of that together, and Dobson, you sign him to a lengthy offer sheet. He's still going to be in his prime at the end of the deal. So be interesting to see. Now, The Athletic said that you would probably sign him to a 6-year offer sheet worth about $7 million a year. And if you do that, you're talking about a big, big cap hit that the Islanders would have to match it. And I'll tell you right now, the Islanders cannot afford to lose Noah Dobson, because you're talking about a team that has lost Devon Taves and Nick Leddy in back-to-back seasons because of cap considerations. And Dobson is young. He is healthy. He is still improving. And the Islanders really cannot allow Dobson to walk. The problem is $7 million would be an absolutely, huge cap hit to absorb for the next 6 years if you're the New York Islanders. And it may mean that other trades will have to be made during this offseason in order to make sure that you retain Noah Dobson, because there really are no other puck-moving defensemen on this roster right now. And, we've talked a lot during this offseason about the need to add another puck-moving defenseman. But if you lose Noah Dobson, then you need to add two. And, I don't think the Islanders can afford to do that without making some other move. So to me, there is going to be a trade one way or the other to add that puck-moving defenseman, but it's got to be that puck-moving defenseman is in addition to Noah Dobson. So signing Dobson, to me, before another team can make that offer sheet, has to be one of the Islanders' top priorities heading into this offseason and, heading before free agency starts. You want to nail down a deal with Noah Dobson, keep him on Long Island, and build your team around him. He is so difficult to replace at this point in time for this Islanders team. And, even the prospects, your Robin Salos, there's nobody in the system who is as NHL ready, who is there now to take over at defense as that puck-moving guy. And if you lose Dobson, but, acquire another puck-moving defenseman in a trade, at best, you're treading water. You're not making progress. So Lou Lamoriello, it's got to be priority one. And if you sign him before the offer sheet is even possible, you're controlling the situation a lot more. Whereas if you're reactive and wait for another team to make that $7 million a year offer sheet to Dobson, you're on the defensive. You're not dictating the terms of the contract. And obviously, there is no chance of getting some kind of hometown discount. But if you do that, the compensation, if you let Dobson go, would be a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick if they sign him to a $7 million per year offer sheet. And you know what? I don't think that losing Noah Dobson and picking up even that smorgasbord of early round picks, if the Islanders truly believe that this is a team that with a couple of tweaks can get back to the conference final or contend for a Stanley Cup, then by no means can you let Dobson walk for a first, a second, and a third round pick. So Lou Lamoriello has his hands full. And like I said, The Athletic listing Noah Dobson as their number one candidate for teams to sign to an offer sheet, because young, talented, puck-moving defensemen do not grow on trees, and there is no way the Islanders should risk losing Noah Dobson right now. We have got a lot more to discuss when we're talking about puck-moving defensemen. Kevin Korchinski, one of the top prospects available in this year's draft, will profile his strengths and weaknesses and how he might fit in with the Islanders. All that and more still to come on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including Major League Baseball. You can have futures on the NBA, the NHL, and, of course, the NFL. BetOnline is also your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. And BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MMA, tennis, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. The NHL draft is right around the corner, and our team of local hosts and draft experts are breaking it down with insights and analysis for every first-round pick. So make sure you follow Locked On Islanders on YouTube for all the latest breakdowns and live reactions on the NHL draft. We will have it all covered for you next week live, so make sure you check it out. Locked On Islanders, Locked On NHL for complete coverage of the NHL draft on YouTube. So looking ahead to the NHL draft, we want to highlight Kevin Korchinski. He is an 18-year-old left-handed shot defenseman from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Good size, 6'2", 185 pounds. Again, only 18 years old, so there's time to put a little more muscle on that frame. Incredible statistics this year. He had a breakout season with the Seattle Thunderbirds of the Western Hockey League. He went from a guy who was considered, a mid-round prospect, maybe a third-round kind of prospect, to a first-round bona fide contender and probably one of the top 2 or 3 defensemen in this year's draft. 67 games with the Thunderbirds, 4 goals, 61 assists. So 65 points in 67 games, 40 penalty minutes, a plus 36 plus minus. But in the playoffs this year, in 25 games, 19 points, 6 goals, 13 assists. He stepped up his game, and that is a good sign. The thing about Korchinski that sets him apart, he is one of the best skating defensemen in the draft. He's tall. He's a smooth skater. He's going to give you a lot of offense. And really, again, kind of a guy who reminded scouts of Thomas Harley, who was picked by the Dallas Stars in the first round. So, he moves very well. His footwork is excellent. He skates around and away from pressure and makes good passes. We talked about the Islanders' need for a puck-moving defenseman. Well, Korchinski is about as good a puck-moving defenseman as you're going to find in this draft. The issue with him may be a little bit weak defensively. He is not as dedicated to playing well in his own zone as he is to moving the puck, passing the puck, and the balance that he shows skating. So his mobility, his ability to change direction, he really would be a great complement in a couple of years, 2-3 years, to Noah Dobson, assuming the Islanders keep him. He needs to do a few different things to improve his game a little bit, especially working on defense. But his size, his speed, his ability to play the puck, and his offensive ability make him an intriguing candidate for the New York Islanders in this draft. Skates like the wind and moves the puck pretty well. He might, this is a scout discussing him, he might lead the league in third assists. He can get the rush started, but he doesn't shoot a lot. And that's another thing about him that you need to sort of put into consideration, that he is not shooting the puck as much as a lot of the other candidates out there on offense. So keep that in mind. But the skating is elite, and that is critical. And it's something that the Islanders really could use in the draft this year. So Kevin Korchinski, certainly a candidate for the Islanders, and we'll see whether or not he ends up being picked in the draft. Little update on William Dufour, by the way. His team winning the Memorial Cup, and he was named MVP of that Memorial Cup playoff. So congratulations to William Dufour. Not NHL ready yet, but probably going to play in Bridgeport. Ends up signing his entry league contract a few months back. So he'll be going pro this year, and I look for him to be in training camp. We'll get a good look at him, and we'll see what he can do. Probably a year or two away still from being NHL ready, but William Dufour making a lot of noise this year in his last year of juniors, and it makes him a more intriguing prospect for the New York Islanders without a doubt. And we'll keep an eye on Dufour. And, he's just one of those guys who made a lot of progress this year. Hockey News had him ranked second among Islanders prospects, and that is indeed a big step up from where he was a year ago. So good news concerning William Dufour, and congratulations to him and the Sea Dogs on winning the Memorial Cup. That is a big honor, and something that, when you think about it, is again giving him more momentum and more hype, and really solidifying him as a prospect for the New York Islanders. We have got more to talk about on today's show. We have our Islanders birthday of the day, a smooth skating defenseman who spent 2 years with the Islanders in the late 2000s and early 2000 teens. So let's see if you can guess who that is. But first, this episode is brought to you by Built Bar, and from the people who invented healthy and tasty comes the latest gift to your taste buds. You've probably tried the amazing coconut brownie chunk Built Bar, but guess what? Your friends at Built have given coconut brownie chunk the Puffs treatment. That's right, the coconut brownie chunk Built Bar flavor you love, and a delicious, chewy marshmallow covered in 100% real chocolate. It's like a fluffy cloud of coconut brownie goodness. But stop drooling and listen. They're good for you. Low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and all delicious. Coconut brownie chunk puffs are here for only a limited time, so go to Built.com now to make sure that you don't miss out. They're going fast because they taste amazing. All Built Bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. And the best part about Built Puffs, of course, they taste amazing, but you can enjoy them guilt-free because they're actually good for you. They're a perfect treat, perfect when you got a craving that you need to satisfy your sweet tooth, or you need a quick, healthy snack, and they're an excellent source of protein. Delicious coconut, rich sweet brownie, creamy marshmallow. Stop fantasizing and get to Built.com to order your box of coconut brownie chunk Built Puffs right now. Go to Built.com and use promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. And since we're already in July, which is hard to believe, but July 1st is the 36th birthday of former Islanders center Rob Shremp. Shremp, a first-round pick of the Oilers, 25th overall back in 2004, played a handful of games with the Oilers starting in 06-07, but never really cracked the lineup full-time, and then went on to the Islanders in 2009, 2010, and 2010-2011. Played briefly for the Atlanta Thrashers before finishing his career in Europe. Played in the Swedish Elite League, the KHL, Austria, Switzerland, Sweden, and Germany before hanging up his skates after the 2017-2018 season. Overall, Shremp only played 114 NHL games, had 20 goals, 54 points, and 26 penalty minutes. A really good skater, but not a big offensive contributor. Never had more than 10 goals in a season with the Islanders, but he could kill penalties, he could skate, and he can create chances with his skating. We're going to go back and look at one of Rob Shremp's better games with the Islanders, February 5th, 2011 at the Nassau Coliseum. And the Ottawa Senators are the visiting team. Brian Elliott started the game in goal, but he was later replaced by Robin Lehner. The Islanders going with Kevin Poulin on this night. And in the first period, it was the Islanders getting on the board first. Matt Molson, his 18th from Jack Hillen and John Tavares at 4:10, 1-0 Islanders. But 13 seconds later, Chris Neal ties it for the Sens, his third. Mike Fisher and Chris Kelly with the assists were even at 1-1. Michael Grabner gives the Islanders a 2-1 lead with his 16th goal of the year. Franz Nielsen and Ty Wishart with the assists at 9:44. But Mike Fisher ties it 2.5 minutes later for Ottawa. His 14th, Chris Kelly and ex-Islanders defenseman Chris Campoli with the assists. And then Alex Kovalov gives Ottawa a 3-2 lead, his 11th, Peter Regan and Chris Campoli with the helpers. But the Islanders answer. 17 seconds after the Kovalev goal, Rob Shremp, our Islanders' birthday of the day, pots his 8th of the year, assist to Jeremy Colleton and Ty Wishart at 17:28. It is a 3-3 hockey game after one. No scoring in the second period, but in the third, the Islanders get a power play chance when Robin Lehner, the goalie for Ottawa, is called for elbowing at the end of the period. Shremp takes advantage on the power play, his 9th of the year, 2nd of the game. Travis Hamonic and Michael Grabner with the assist at 1:39. An empty netter by Franz Nielsen, his 6th from Travis Hamonic. A shorthanded empty net goal clinches the win for the Islanders. They win it 5-3. Kevin Poulin with 20 saves for the win. But for our Islanders' birthday of the day, Rob Shremp, 2 goals on 5 shots. That was second on the team behind only Grabner, who had 6. He was a +1, and yes, he had the game-winning goal in this one, was on ice for a little less than 15 minutes. So happy birthday, 36th birthday, to former Islanders center Rob Shremp. He is our Islanders' birthday of the day. The NHL draft is fast approaching, and we are looking forward to it. We're going to have wall-to-wall coverage in between now and the draft, first round on Thursday. We'll continue to talk about any possible trade rumors, some more big prospects the Islanders may be interested in picking, and try to get inside the head of Lou Lamoriello to see what happens with this first-round pick. Do the Islanders trade the pick, which I think is very, very likely, considering they still are in win-now mode with this roster? Or do they make a pick at 13? We will know in less than a week, and we'll have it all covered for you here on Locked On Islanders. Have a great holiday weekend, everyone. Happy Canada Day. We will have a show Monday on the 4th of July, so please check that out as well. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And, of course, let's go Islanders.